Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new wave of witches. This is the new moon in Capricorn, and we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How's everybody liking these? I see people sign up, but then I don't see people actually in the room, and so I'm wondering if the Zoom link is getting to you all correctly, if we're in the same Zoom room. So what I'm doing is for the people that do sign up, I'm sending you the replay. That way you are not missing out. But I really would love to have people in the room. So we'll get it figured out. Um, oh, look, we have one person while I say that. Hi, how are you? Welcome. I was just talking about if people got the right link, and I guess you did, so that's great. Um, Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the layout of this is 30 minutes um, with talking about the current lunation, and then the other 30 minutes um, will be well, it's a 40-minute meeting. So the first 20 minutes we'll talk about the current lunation, and then the next 20 minutes I will open it up to questions about astrology. So we can go over pretty much anything that you want to talk about. Um, but it will be 20 minutes and 20 minutes. So let's go ahead and get started. So, oh, hi from Transylvania from Romania with love. Cute. Hello. Thank you for being here. I love the candles. That's amazing. It looks very dark wherever you're calling in from. Perfect for the new moon. The new moon is all about, being more quiet, kind of like being in the dark, not really pushing so hard, taking our time. And really, in the northern hemisphere, we are still in winter and we're kind of in the dead of winter. And this is such a spiritual season, in my opinion. And it's really about being receptive and being more still and not pushing so much. And, Chinese astrology is actually what got me into astrology many moons ago. And we are at the tail end of the Chinese lunar year. So we're going to get to the Lunar New Year in February. And so this last month of the year of the snake, it's very important to continue to shed. And so being by yourself is important. There was a quote that I read right before this, and I'll share it with you all. And it says, don't just do something, sit there. So it's talking more about sitting with whatever type of energy is coming up. So it's interesting, a lot of people that I'm around, they're getting sick, and I really don't think that that's a coincidence. I do think that's that snake medicine that's wanting us to purge everything that we've kind of taken in since the start of the Lunar New Year last February. Um, so in general, oh, it's 3 a.m. there. Oh my God. Okay, I will answer that question at the after we go over the moon. It's about what magic is, and I'm sure you have a lot of magic in you as well. Because we all have magic in us. Okay, so this is the first new moon of 2026. So we are in the year of 2026. Some numerologists look at this as a 1 year, others look at it as a 10. In numerology, one is kind of a beginning. You can think of it that way, which aligns very nicely with a new moon. A new moon is a new beginning. 10 in numerology is more about a completion. So we would pair that more with a full moon. That's kind of what a full moon is. And we just had a full moon on January 3rd, and that was a super full moon in Cancer. But we're now in the new moon phase. And so this is the last lunation that we can work with before we have eclipse season. So eclipse season is coming down the pipeline. It's kind of snuck up on us, and when eclipse season comes in, we don't manifest. We don't make magic. In fact, we kind of let the magic just come to us naturally because the universe and the cosmos are that powerful. We don't really need to be playing a part in it. The cosmos will do it for us. We haven't had a new moon in Capricorn since 2024. So that's really kind of interesting to think about because in 2025 there was no new moon in Capricorn. That's just how the calendar lined up. And I think we missed out on an opportunity to set 5, 10 year plans because that's what Capricorn's very, very good at. So that's why this new moon is that much more important because not only is it the last moon that we can manifest with, but it's also, um, we haven't had this energy and this opportunity since 2024. So I think it's a very big moon. I do. And I'm excited for it because I've been telling all my Capricorns and everybody has Capricorn energy in their chart, it's time to have some fun. So if it means going out in the middle of the night at 3 in the morning learning about magic with candles, then that's great. That's great. Um, so this is an opportunity to set your intentions. If you didn't do New Year's resolutions, you can do them now, which is great because sometimes it takes a little bit of time to figure out what do we want in a new year. And because we just started, the either the 1 or the 10 year, it's new energy. So it's kind of, you can kind of think of it like when a baby begins to walk. It's still a very fresh energy. We really don't know what's going to come from this 1 or 10 year, whichever way you look at it. Because the way I'm saying it to people as someone that practices numerology, it's either a 1 or a 10 year, and it's either a beginning or end, or maybe it's both, depending on the person. Um, okay, so the moon is also at a degree that's very nurturing. And so it's important to do a lot of different self-care, be alone, resting, slowing down. This is a yin sign. It's not very gung-ho. It's about being patient. So if you can practice patience with this new moon, then you're doing it right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the chart so you can get more familiar with the energy of this new moon. This might be a lesson for you, meaning like you might have never looked at an astrology chart. And so when you first see it, it might be a lot, but I'm gonna walk you through it so you're gonna be able to like learn something and take away something from this meeting where maybe the next time you look at a chart, you're gonna know how to look at it. That's kind of the point of these astrology salons. So I've been practicing astrology for over 6 years, and it's been a really great way for me to understand the energy that's going on uh, currently, but also to learn about other people. But tonight we're going to be focusing on the current transits. So when anytime an astrologer says current transits, what that means is it's talking about what is going on in real time astrologically. when someone's talking about a natal chart, that is somebody's birth chart. And that is what an astrologer uh, interprets when they get a person's date of birth, time of birth, place of birth. So, what you're looking at is a chart when the new moon in Capricorn happens in New York City. So, I'm in New York. It's going to be happening on January 18th, 2026, which is a Sunday at 2:50 p.m. But wherever you're at in the world, you just have to change the time. So, depending on where you're at, the time could change, the day could change. But there's really nothing that is that serious about this, like meaning it doesn't necessarily matter like too much because we're in a window of time with a new moon or a full moon, meaning that we can still work with the energy about 2.5 days before and 2.5 days after. So as long as you get into that window, you're totally fine. The concrete details are mainly more about like trying to maybe select a date, and that's called electional astrology. And that's a little bit more high tech and advanced. And so, really, this is just about teaching you that we're in a window. You can be feeling into this energy for a couple days, and you can manifest in that window, 2.5 days before and 2.5 days after the actual event. So, the first thing that I want to teach you all is how to spot a new moon in a chart. And it's very simple because you want to think of it like like a board meeting, okay? The planets are going to a board meeting, and we need certain workers to be at that board meeting for it to be effective. So for a new moon, we definitely need the sun and the moon to be there. And we need the sun and the moon to be on the same page, meaning they need to be at the same degree, same minute, in the same sign in order for it to be a new moon. So the way you find that in a chart is you look for the symbols of the sun and the moon, you look for a same degree, that's a good clue, and the same minute. So how you read this is here we have the sun symbol, it's the circle with the dot. Here we have the moon symbol. That's a very easy one to spot. Then we have, okay, both of them are at 28 degrees. And then we have the symbol for Capricorn. And then over here is 43, and you have a little apostrophe. What that means is 43 minutes. So I'm a Placidus astrologer. We go up to the 29th degree, 59 minutes. So we're at the 28th degree of Capricorn, 43 minutes. That's when the moon will be at 0% illumination, meaning there will be no light from the moon. It's when it's a new moon is when the sky is completely dark. So you'll be able to see all the stars a lot better under a new moon because the moon is gone. It's vanished. And it takes that time to meet with the sun to start a new cycle. And so a new cycle begins on a new moon, and it's really a good time to, like I said in earlier, it's a new beginning to set intentions, to plant seeds. And we always want to look at the sign that it's in to understand where or how we want to plant the seeds. So in Capricorn, this is the most ambitious sign of the zodiac. It's the boss of the zodiac. It's very patient. It's very ambitious. It wants to uh, analyze trends. It wants to crunch the numbers. It wants to think about the different opportunity costs and create 5, 10 year plans. So it's more of a big picture type of sign. It's an older sign. Um, It's the 10th sign of the zodiac, and there's 12, so it's more on the elderly side of the zodiac. And it's an earth sign. So it's something about there's something about tangible results here. So goals are definitely in the arena of Capricorn. And so this is a good opportunity to kind of look at the year ahead and come up with some goals that we can work at throughout the entire year. So what is it that you want to achieve this year? And it doesn't necessarily have to be that big, but I think it needs to have it needs to logically make sense. That's definitely Capricorn. It also um, needs to add value to your life in some way, shape, or form. And the goal definitely, you should think about it, having the goal like withstand the test of time because Capricorn is um, ruled by Saturn, which is the keeper of time. And so Capricorn does remind us that, time is currency and that choose your time wisely. So, um, that is kind of the foundation of this new moon, but there is a lot of other things that are going on. And so we'll stay in the Capricorn sphere of this chart, and then we'll move outside of the Capricorn placements into some of the other placements that are talking to the new moon. So, first and foremost, Mercury's trailing behind, and so is Mars. So, we are thinking like Capricorns think, we are acting like Capricorns would act. So, we are thinking before we speak. Mars loves to be in Capricorn. It's really just like it's a taskmaster Capricorn, and then Mars puts a lot of energy behind that. So just in general, like the feeling is you're gonna be able to get things right the first try type of thing, and thinking more like professionally, not so emotional, the thought processes, because Capricorn, sits opposite of the emotional sign of Cancer. Capricorn in general is a cardinal sign like Cancer, and they both lead us into certain things, and Cancer leads us into emotions, whereas Capricorn leads us into opportunities. So really, this whole vibe of the new moon, it could feel more like um, you don't want to spend too much time on the emotions. You kind of want to think more about uh, the things that you need to get done, or like the goals that will set you ahead of the curve. Um, so outside of the Capricorn energy, what's really big is that um, this is the last lunar event that Neptune will be in Pisces in our lifetime. So that's a big, big statement. That means that, the next new moons in Capricorn won't have this aspect called a sextile, which is highly supportive to Neptune. Instead, the new moons in Capricorn, once Neptune goes into Aries, will be squaring Neptune. And that will be a different vibe. It won't be so supportive, it'll be more character building. And so take this opportunity to really dream big about what it is that you do want to accomplish, what it is that you want to go after. set the bar high because you have support here with Neptune and Pisces. It's a highly spiritual time. It's really important to lean into this energy. Some astrologers talk about Neptune and Pisces being very smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of illusion. But for me, in my opinion, I'm really digging my heels in and saying that number one, winter is a highly spiritual season. We have Neptune and Pisces, highly spiritual placement. We're very spoiled with this. We might as well lean into the energy. And behind Neptune is Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn is there to help. There to materialize these grand grand visions, these grand dreams of what you want to achieve. And Capricorn and Saturn, they go hand in hand. So there is this another kind of wink from the universe that it's kind of like, yeah, go for it. If you work hard enough, you can achieve these goals. So that's what's going on there. Another thing that's happening that I think is very nice is another supportive um, aspect, and it's a trine, and it's with Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And a lot of the time when Uranus is in the mix with a lunation, it can be kind of a lot. But with a trine, this is more support, and it's really kind of going back to what I was talking about, how we're in the last month of the year of the snake, that the snake medicine wants us to purge things that we can't carry anymore. So I'm not surprised to see a lot of people getting sick. I mean, there's a lot of different sicknesses going around in New York City. I'm sure it's happening in other places in the world. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it's not only physical, but I do think it's energetic, it's spiritual. It's about releasing um, just the energy that we can't hold on to anymore. The skin is breaking. It's it's tearing. It's just it can't expand anymore. It has to break in order for us to grow new skin. And so what Uranus does in astrology is it helps us break free of old paradigms. And so approaching your New Year's resolutions or your intentions or what is it that you want to go to accomplish this year. Maybe in years past, you've approached it in a very limited way, but this breaks those limits and it allows us to be more boundless, which is great because I think sometimes earth signs have a difficulty, breaking a habit because they're just creatures of habit. They're the signs that really hold the fort down here on planet Earth. Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. So I like to see this here because I feel like it's giving a permission slip to the earth signs to kind of like switch it up a little bit, like be a little bit of a wild card. Do that because not a lot of people expect you to do that. So it's your opportunity to do that and surprise some people. I think it's good. The last thing that I would say is that we just came out of a period where all this Capricorn energy, it's called a Capricorn stellium, it squared Chiron in Aries. And Chiron and Aries just went direct at the beginning of the year. And I feel like there was a lot of resurfacing of old emotional wounds that it's like old operating systems or like a past version of yourself is speaking to you. And it was really about, um, there was something about like energy, like it was like trying to move forward, but you can't with all the squaring. It squared Mars and Mercury, the sun, the moon, Venus at one point earlier on, and it was kind of, I think that there was a lot of uh, doubt that you could be the person to go after your goals. That was kind of what we were working with at the beginning of this week. So all of that is behind us, and so now there's this like clean slate where we maybe understood that that maybe had to happen for us to shed some things. So if this is landing and if there's a story that keeps coming up that you know not to be true, it's not your reality anymore, let it go. Because that's not the present moment. So let it go, begin again, and know that there's a lot of support with this new moon to manifest 5, 10 year plans, to manifest the year that you want. Um, Capricorn at times is kind of like Aries, where it almost, and I think the cardinal signs in general, they at times have a loneliness to them because they are the first to start things. They do start seasons. That's why all four of these signs, Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, and Libra, they're at the beginning of each of the seasons, the equinoxes, the solstices. So there is kind of like a lone wolf energy with each of these signs, and at times Capricorn does feel lonely, like Aries does, like Cancer does, like Libra does. And so I like that this new moon, it's showing that, Capricorn doesn't have to do this alone. Very supportive energy. So really great moon to work with, to um, think about, you know, what you want this year ahead to be, or maybe more future oriented 5, 10 year plans. So that is the chart. I'm going to leave it up, but now I'm going to open it up to questions. So the first question is, what is magic? And that's a great question. One of my teachers spelled magic with a K. So Magick, K at the end. And her belief was, or is, that when we spell it that way, that we have a part in the magic. So we are co-creating with the universe. And so when we use magic that way, we could say when we look at an astrology chart and we kind of look at what's ahead, that's magic. Because we know that now, okay, on January 18th, it's really good to get quiet. It's really good to spend some time with myself and to write some things down, write some intentions down that I want to achieve this year. So that's playing a part in magic. Magic without a K, in my opinion, and a lot of other people probably would interpret it differently, but I think magic without a K, it's the miracles that come into our lives, whether they're big or small, and we don't have any clue into how they came in. And that, to me, is the most exciting part about being alive, is when the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call the higher power, gives you a little gift and you weren't expecting it, or something happens where you meet a person that kind of like directs you down a path that you needed to go, and without them, you would have never gotten there. It could be in the form of money. It could be in the form of a person. It could be in the form of just hearing a song that is very meaningful to you. Um, Things like that, I think that type of magic, we don't have control over, and that's really kind of one of the mysteries of life that I think it's better for us to not know about it because when we're surprised and delighted by the universe and we kind of don't know a good thing is coming, when it finally does come in, it means so much more to us. So that's what I would say about magic. Okay, tantric healer, central here. I need more rituals, initiations into divine feminine energy, sex magic. I do not have resources for that, but I'm trying to think who would I know that would be um, good for you to maybe look up. Um, let's see. Let me think on that. I don't know any practitioners that like I've worked with before that do that. Um, yeah, I'm not totally sure, but I would say like going online and just reading about it yourself, you can find that for sure. Um, but I think that what I would say for you is I know that tantric does deal with the chakras, and so opening your chakras is important and really working on the sacral, that orange chakra, because that is where like the sexual energy is coming from. So I would definitely work with that ritual and focus on the sacral chakra. But I am not a an expert in that at all. But I know a lot of people do like it. But any astrology questions? That was good. Kundalini yoga. Yeah, I've never done it. I know a lot of people like it. Well, hopefully this was informative. Like you learned a little bit about uh the new moon in Capricorn. Does anybody or anybody that is here, is there anything that you want to bring into the new moon? What is it that you're trying to manifest? What's it that you're trying to work on? What's it that you're trying to call in? And maybe you don't have the answer to that, but those are questions to ask yourself when you do get quiet with yourself for this new moon in Capricorn. And to really, like I said, dream big, you have support, and be patient because whatever you're calling in, you really might not see the fruition until 6 months from now. Because what happens in a new moon is it starts out a 30-day cycle, but it also starts out a cycle that's 6 months from the seeding point. So the new moon in Capricorn we'll see the flowers bloom on the full moon in Capricorn in Cancer season, which is more in the summer in the northern hemisphere. So hopefully that makes sense. But we are running out of time. I'm so happy that you could join. That's so cool that you came, that we could connect all the way. You're all the way over there. I don't even know. I gotta look up where this is. I wonder if it's cold there. Oh, it looks beautiful. It looks really nice. I really appreciate you coming all the way here, and I that's so special. and come to the next one. We'll have we'll be doing these all winter long. So the next one will be the full moon in Leo, and that's on February 1st. So all that information is in that same sign up where you signed up here, and it would be great to kind of grow it and make people from all over come. So I appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of your night and happy new moon in Capricorn.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.